What's going on, YouTube? I'm the Mind Fllayer Slayer.
And I'm Dr. DM, and we're bringing you a really awesome deck today for Izzet. This is Vivv, just came out in Final Fantasy. And if you love Final Fantasy IX, or you love Vivv, or you love pinging and spell-slinging and burning your enemies out, this is the deck for you.
It's so good.
That's right. Vivv Ornithopter is here, and he's one of the best commanders for Izzet. And let's get right into it and how we're going to build this deck.
Vivv is Vivv cute, and you have a 0 mana ability to add X mana in any combination of Izzet colors, where X is Vivv, Ornitier's power. Activate only during your turn and only once each turn. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Vivv, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Again, you're going to be burning out your opponents, you're going to be casting little spells, but you also have some pretty big bangers in here because you are going to be generating so much mana off of this card. So let's get right into it. Up first, we've got Balor Battle-Mage Captain. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain trample until end of turn.
Guess what we're doing in Izzet decks?
Casting spells. And you're giving Vivv a +1, so that's 1 free mana.
Yep. Next we have Harmonic Prodigy. This is Prowess, and if an ability of a shaman or another wizard, such as Vivv, you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time, which in this case is for that burn effect, which will happen a lot.
Up next we have Gerson Starn, and this is going to allow you to do more burn damage because whenever you deal exactly 1 damage to a permanent or player, this will deal 2 damage to that permanent or player.
So Vivv's popping off and doing the 1 damage, and also other effects as well, doing 1 damage or doing 2, so that damage is stacking up very quickly.
Make sure you stack those triggers correctly.
And we have Tandem Lookout. This is going to be your first sort of curiosity effect. When you put it on Vivv and then you're zapping your opponents every time it hits, you're going to draw a card, which is huge, because then you're kind of like going off and building Vivv's power, tapping for mana, getting more card draw.
Because it's a deal damage, it's not deal damage by attacking. So every turn you're getting usually at least 3 cards out of this.
Yeah, because you're hitting all your opponents. And then we have Vali Floodcaller. This is from Bloomborough. Has flash. You can cast non-creature spells as though they had flash, which includes your sorceries.
Veyran, Voice of Duality, one of the classic Izzet commanders itself. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, you get a +1/+1 until end of turn. When casting or copying, it causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger. That ability triggers an additional time. So again, making Vivv more burn, more powerful.
Then Archmage Emeritus. It says Magecraft, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. You'll be doing a lot of those, especially like your cheap 1 mana cantrips, such as Monstrous Rage, which just got banned in Standard, but not in Commander.
So it's cheaper for us.
Woo!
Ashling Flame Dancer, you're not going to be losing red mana as steps and phases end, and it also has a Magecraft ability which allows you to discard cards, draw cards, and if it's the second time that this has happened in the turn, you're going to be dealing 2 damage to each opponent and each creature they control, and then if it's the third time, you get some crazy extra 4 red mana.
Yeah, and don't sleep on the first ability here where you're having unspent red mana because you're creating a ton of mana with Vivv that might roll over, and there's no mana burn anymore. Boomers.
Displacer Kitten is going to allow you to flicker Vivv so that you can use its effect again. Even though it's once per turn, if you flicker it, you can still use it.
And then Sulfim, Mayhem Dominus. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals double that damage to that player or permanent instead. So doubling the burn effects.
And you can make it indestructible so that you can do even more damage all the time forever.
Storm-Kiln Artist. And this creature gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control, but that doesn't matter. What matters is whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, you'll create a treasure token. So with Vivv ramping all your mana all the time, you will be getting a ton of treasure tokens.
A couple.
Yeah. And then with the curiosity effects, you'll be able to ramp out everything you want whenever you want.
Correct. Quicksilver Elemental
this is awesome.
is crazy because it gains all of the activated abilities of target creature, but it doesn't have the restrictions of once per turn, so this allows you to have a Vivv that can generate infinite mana forever, essentially.
Yeah, it's a Vivv Prime 2.0.
And Niv-Mizzet Perun, it can't be countered. When you draw a card, it deals 1 damage to any target, and whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, you draw a card.
So that's incredible.
And that ends our creatures. So I think there's about like 15, 16 in there, roughly. You want as much of this to be spell-focused as possible.
Gitaxian Probe, this is a good combo with the curiosity effects as well. You can pay for no mana, look at your target's hand, and draw a card.
Preordain, scrying, drawing cards.
And then Vandal Blast, destroy target artifact you don't control. You can overload it, which is really good. You can cast a spell for overload cost. If you do, change target to each. We'll see this in like a Mizzet's Mastery as well. Overload is a great effect for this deck.
Yeah, it's definitely a powerful deck to play against, I don't know, Noctis.
And Wild Ride. This is a good one from Tarkir. The target creature gets +3/+0, gains haste. Of course, Vivv, you get the extra 3 power. The haste doesn't really matter for us, but it can harmonize and you can cast again from the graveyard later.
Crackle with Power.
I love this spell, by the way.
Yeah, it's so good. 5 times X damage to each of X targets. So this is a great way to, you're like, we're done here.
Build up his power as much as you can through all the different effects, and then just blast, blast, blast. Everyone takes 25 damage or 50 damage, or it's going to be whatever you have to
Game over.
Awesome.
Grape Shot is going to deal 1 damage to any target. It also has Storm, so you can do this a million times.
Because you're casting a bunch of like cantrips, right, essentially, and then building up on those with your Storm count. Then Shatter, Skull Smashing, just a great MDFC that you want to have on hand. If your mana is screwed, play it. Otherwise, it's a great sorcery as well that kills multiple creatures.
Solve the Equation is sorcery that's going to allow you to search for an instant or sorcery card that you might need, and so you're tutoring.
Mizzet's Master, I love this one. This is like a staple you'll find in like Cube, usually in very powerful formats, such as Commander. Exile target card is an instant or sorcery from your graveyard. There'll be lots of those because you'll be jamming those spells for your spell-slinging. For each card exiled this way, copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. And of course, what we're shooting for is the Overlord. You're casting each of your cards in your graveyard and just going hog wild.
Lorien Revealed is great card draw. It also has some island cycling.
And Mana Geyser, you add 1 red for each tapped land your opponent's control, which is usually a lot, more than generally the 5, especially if you play it later in the game, so then let Vivi and other spells go off.
Seagate Restoration, again another great MDFC, giving you card draw, and you can also play it as a land.
And Temporal Mastery, take an extra turn after this one. You can play with a Miracle cost. It's not going to happen that often, but this is awesome because you're going to generate that mana with Vivi.
Call Forth the Tempest is from Lord of the Rings. It has Cascade. When you cast this card, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. This is allowing you to storm like crazy. It's going to deal damage to each creature your opponent's control equal to the total mana value of other spells you cast this turn.
And since it's 8 mana and you're ramping up to it using that Vivi effect, you're going to get to it and then it's going to cascade into more than likely powerful spells, at least is the hope.
Blasphemous Act. Best board wipe in red.
And an offer you can't refuse. This is a great counter, or if you need to make treasure tokens for yourself, counter your own cantrips, but generally you want to make sure you're not getting their bombs online.
Consider, again, you got Surveil, you've got card draw.
And Brainstorm, this is an awesome staple. Draw 3 cards, and you want to shuffle those away when you can. Keep getting value from the top of your deck.
Flusterstorm allows you to counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 1, and it also has Storm as well.
And you'll be storming off a lot with this deck. This is the 1,000-Year Storm, not 1,000-Year Storm Vv deck. March of Swirling Mist as an additional cost to cast a spell. You can exile any number of cards from your hand. The spells cost less to do that. You might not have to do that, but you can pay very little to just phase out Vivi and protect Vivi.
Monstrous Rage, again, just banned, gives that +2, but really +3, but really +4. Very powerful.
AKA mana. And Pongify, get removal card 4 blue.
Rapid Hybridization, its little brother.
And Red Elemental Blast, this is a blast from the past. You can counter target blue spell. Let's be honest, someone's playing blue at your table generally, so or destroy target blue permanent. It's a great one to have, and triggers Vivi with only 1 red mana.
Lightning Bolt!
Woo!
In the Vivi art.
Zap.
We don't actually have that one.
And and a Braid, this is a great one because generally the destroy target artifact goes hard.
Arcane Denial, another great counter spell. It's also going to give you some card draw.
And Brain Freeze, another storm card to really make Vivi go off. And this is a great finisher as well.
Yes, the EDH combo is actually in the deck for this one.
A traditional counter spell, great.
Cyber Conversion. This is mean because you can target a creature and turn it face down and it becomes a Cyberman artifact creature. So if you target someone's commander, they're shit out of luck.
Ooh, because they can't, unless they can flip it, which is very, very unusual. Then Electro Dominance X red deals X damage to any target. You may cast a spell with mana value X or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So of course with Vivi, you're really getting a ton of mana. Play Electro Dominance and then play one of the other big bangers.
Izzet Charm, great counter, great card draw, great damage dealer.
Is it a charm?
It's charming.
And then Paretic Ritual, this is a great ritual for red. Add 3 mana at the cost of 2.
Delayed Blast Fireball.
Oh, this is a great removal actually. I love
so
playing
good.
This guy,
It's so much fun.
It's also a D&D spell, which is nice.
And we love D&D.
Flame of Honor, choose 1 if you control Wizard, which you likely will because Vivi is pretty cheap. As you cast a spell, you can choose 2. Target player draws 2 cards, like yourself, destroy target artifact, that's fantastic. Or it deals 5 damage to target creature, which is a good amount of damage for 3 mana.
Yeah, for sure. Flair of Duplication is going to allow you to sack a non-token red creature, copy an instant or sorcery spell, very powerful.
And Frantic Search, this is a great staple actually for Modern and Standard as well. Draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, and untap up to 3 lands to then do other busted shenanigans like countering.
Sink into Stupor is going to give you a way to return a permanent to an owner's hand. Very powerful, and it's an MDFC.
And Memory Deluge, who doesn't love this one because you can cast it with its flashback cost again to just draw cards.
Lotus Petal is the piece that we're using instead of Lion's Eye Diamond for the Brain Freeze combo with Breach.
And it is somewhat more affordable in comparison.
Correct.
Dragonfire Blade is a great way to protect Vivi and give him more power.
And it triggers Vivi as well, because Vivi is also counting artifacts as non-creature spells.
Woo! Combos! Soul Ring.
Arcane Signet.
Astrologian's Planisphere.
This card is so good.
It goes pretty hard and put it on Vivi, right?
Yeah, you put it on Vivi.
Explain.
So you put it on Vivi. You don't care about the other thing. The other thing doesn't matter. But you get it on Vivi as quickly as possible. And the equipped creature is a wizard, which Vivi already is. But then it has whenever you cast a non-creature spell and whenever you draw your 3rd card each turn, which you're going to be doing all the time because of your curiosity effects, you're getting a +1/+1 counter on the creature.
Incredible. Making Vivi super ultra powerful.
So good.
And Felwar Stone.
Glamdring is a great way to have recursion for all of those little sorceries that are in your graveyard, and it's also going to be buffing Vivi's power and triggering Vivi.
Izzet Signet.
Swift of Boots.
Ooh, protect Vivi.
Talisman of Creativity.
And the Fire Crystal. This one's really interesting. Red spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Creatures you control have haste, which isn't all that important, but sometimes you want to creatures down and tap them for a particular effect. In this case, you can play 4 and 2 red mana, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So if you need something to have multiple effects or multiple triggers for your creatures, this is the way to do it.
And Curiosity, the card that gives this deck its power. Whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. So
Yeah,
put it on Vivi.
And that counts for when you're tapping and burning them out.
3, 6, 9, 12. It's crazy.
And Prof's Edict Memory. So this is really interesting. This is a new addition to the deck. When it enters, draws a card. No maximum hand size, which is great because you're going to be drawing tons and tons of cards. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you draw more than 1 card this turn, pretty regularly going to happen, put X +1/+1 counters to a creature you control, or X number of cards you've drawn this turn -1. So you're quickly ramping up counters on Vivi on top of the counters it already gets, which then creates more mana, which then does awesome.
This was a great find.
Yep.
Underworld Breach. You can do crazy shenanigans with Underworld Breach. Again, it's part of your CDH level combo.
And win the game.
And Ophidian Eye. This is, again, another curiosity effect that enchants a creature and allows you to draw cards whenever damage is dealt to an opponent. And that brings us to the end of our deck tech. You can always make substitutions for any of these cards to make the deck cheaper. We've included a list of other cards we were considering that will be in the Moxfield link we will be attaching to this video. So by all means, be aware. This card is very, very powerful. I really don't think Vivi can be built in a non-powerful way. It is just generating so much value, so much mana, so much ability to just deal so much damage in cards. It's really busted. This is a very high tier 4 deck.
And bottom line, I mean, for a 0 mana effect that you can play right when it comes to the battlefield, it's only a 3 mana commander. I mean, it just goes hard, goes off, and really playable, and any kind of Izzet stuff you want to, smack in there for Vivi.
Yeah, let us know what you liked, what you disliked. Leave a comment down below. Tell us what we might have missed for cards that you recommend that we throw in there.
And what's your favorite Final Fantasy card? Let us know in the comments below as well. Thank you very much for watching.
We'll see you next time.